It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, all alone today on this Monday, the 1st of April, 2024. I'm just kidding, April Fools. I'm also joined, as always, by Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, new week ahead of us today and off to a hot start, huh?
Was that your intro, Tyler? That was your April Fool's joke. You got me. I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting here like, why am I here? But okay, good one, Tyler. Happy
look,
day, man.
Most days people think I'm crazy. Today I'm just going to play into it. It's April Fool's Day. There's no rules. But there's plenty going on throughout the community we got to get to. And Kevin, it's a fun time of the year as people get back out and about in our community. We see them out all across the community. But what we really get as that first evidence that spring is in the air is we see a lot of people out on the West Bloomfield Trail. And this weekend, a really special appearance from the Detroit Free Press Marathon making their way into West Bloomfield and out on the trail. Reporter Jake Schaff from our team has the story.
It's time for everyone to stretch those legs and put on their running shoes because the Detroit Free Press Marathon runners are putting together an exciting marathon event this October in Detroit. But before that day comes, the Free Press has put together a few smaller community runs for prospective participants to get in a little practice before the big day. And one of those runs took place this past Saturday right here in West Bloomfield. And even though the weather might not have been as perfect as they were hoping it would be, it still brought out a ton of activity and a ton of great camaraderie along the way.
Today is one of the group runs that the FREEP ambassadors hold throughout the training season prior to the race in October. We like to set up different locations throughout Metro Detroit to get everybody in the community together, get everybody meeting each other, help with some training miles, and really just making it inclusive for everybody. We welcome people of all different distances, different paces, and then everybody really has their own set miles in. We all start together and we make sure everybody has a running buddy for the entire time.
It's a group run, so we kick off training to get people really excited with group runs throughout Metro Detroit. So we've got a bunch of folks here that are doing a training run with our ambassador team. A number of our ambassadors are here today. It's a great opportunity to get involved in the race early in the year, start their training off with a great group that's encouraging and that's helpful as they get ready for our marathon in October.
So in October, Detroit Free Press hosts the Detroit Free Press Marathon and Half Marathon, which is the only race that goes across the Ambassador Bridge and back through the tunnel for the half marathon, which attracts a ton of people, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
I think it's always fun to pass time with friends, and it just makes the miles go really quick, and it's great catching up, and just all these conversations, a lot of fun. And in the meantime, it's really healthy for you, and it's just really good for you in so many ways to relieve stress and get out with friends and have some fun.
Why is an event like this so important to the community?
I think it's important to the community because it brings us together. There's many of us out there that maybe don't feel like they could run with others, or maybe they're not fast enough to run with others, or they don't run, as long a distance as other people. But that's not true. I felt that way in the beginning of running and started coming to group runs, and I love running with people. I've met so many people, and I've made huge, long, lasting relationships out of this.
Now, if any of this sounded exciting to you, make sure to follow the Detroit Free Press Marathon runners on social media to be on the lookout for future runs and for more information on their marathon event this October in Detroit. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate that, Jake, and appreciate the Detroit Free Press Marathon recognizing West Bloomfield. It's a great place to get out and go for a run. You can, of course, learn more information by going to West Bloomfield Parks' website about the extensive trail network all throughout the greater West Bloomfield area on wbparks.org. It's also the time of the year throughout our community where we start to recognize those making a massive impact all throughout the different areas of our community, whether it's out on the trails, at our volunteer events, or even our kids in our local communities. And one organization that recognizes our kids each and every year for their accomplishments in and outside of the classroom is West Bloomfield Youth Assistance. Their annual awards ceremony is coming up very soon. And joining us to tell us more about Youth Assistance and their annual recognition awards is Carol Finkelstein, one of their board members. Carol, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you about this amazing organization and this amazing event.
Yeah, it really is a great organization that is so helpful for our kids in our local community. And it's not necessarily unique to West Bloomfield. There are youth assistance organizations all throughout our local area and throughout our local school districts. But for those that are unfamiliar with West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, what is the organization and what services does it provide to our kids?
So, Youth Assistance is an Oakland County program that is a tri-party uh, agreement between the circuit court, the local school districts, and local municipalities. Local school districts have a caseworker assigned to each office, and they provide confidential, free counseling services to students and families. The programs are designed to be both preventative and to intervene when a student has gotten themselves into a little bit of trouble, and to help divert them back and get them back on the right path. Youth assistance provides a whole host of different opportunities here within West Bloomfield, including the Youth Recognition Awards that we're going to talk about today, Parenting on the Go video series to help parents, Mentors Plus mentoring, and need-based scholarships for students to attend either camps or other activities in our community.
And Carol, what sort of results do end up coming through from kids participating in youth assistance, whether they're referred or they go themselves to this organization to say, hey, I need some assistance?
So a lot of times the schools, or it could be the police department, or it could be the courts. It could be a lot of people that, even the parents themselves, that will refer kids to youth assistance for counseling. Especially as we all know, in teenage years, kids can tend to make some choices that are not the best choices. And by going through that one-on-one counseling with a professional caseworker, the kids get back on the straight and narrow. They may become involved in different community activities. Their truancy rates may drop. They may, it's a very positive thing. And there's no cost to families. And it really helps the students and the families to be successful.
It's a really important set of programs that they have at West Bloomfield Youth Assistance all throughout our community. They do such amazing work to help kids that are in need and are in a bit of a tumultuous spot in their schooling or in their personal life, or both. And all the more reason it's important for our community to know about these services. If you want to know more about West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, learn about its programs, learn about its services, get yourself involved, you can also join along with them by visiting wbyouthassistance.org. wbyouthassistance.org, or you can also find them on Facebook at WB Youth Assistance. Joining us on the program today, we have Carol Finkelstein from West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, and also a newer member of their board, too, who's been with this organization for well over a year and has also had some experience now working with the organization to help kids throughout our community. Connie Canoyton is also with us today on the Splash Live. Connie, thank you for being with us today, and for you as a newer member.
Tyler.
Appreciate
Good
having
morning,
you.
Tyler, and good morning, my chair, Carol. How's everyone doing this morning?
Doing fantastic, Connie, and so glad to have you with us. And as a newer member of the organization, you've been able to see sort of a more recent point of view of how these kids have been helped by West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, and especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, we're 4 years removed from the beginning of that, but the effects are still lingering on our kids. So from your perspective, just how helpful have these resources from West Bloomfield Youth Assistance been from what you've
It's
seen
been
so far?
very helpful. It's been very helpful for all of our youth. We have a number of programs, as Carol, I'm sure she shedded some lights, a mentor program where we actually mentor the children, take them to different events, and get to know them better. We also have the parenting to go, and of course, we have right now we have a skill building and a camp scholarship. We have the casework management program at no cost to all of the West Bloomfield school district. So we have a number of programs to help these students, stay on the right track.
And at the board level, Connie, how have these programs been developed in recent years or been added on to in recent years to take into effect the needs of kids today? What sort of work has your board been focused on of late?
Focused on helping them to understand the importance of staying in school. As you know, we have a number of students in the West Bloomfield school district, just helping them with the court system and the case management, just helping them stay on the right track is what we really focus on.
Joining us on the program today, Connie Knoyton, as well as Carol Finkelstein from the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance Board. They have a special event coming up in May 1st at 6 o'clock p.m. West Bloomfield Youth Assistance will hold their annual recognition awards. That will be at the West Bloomfield Middle School in their auditorium. And Carol, it's important, too, as we talk about all these different intervention and prevention services for kids that are maybe at a troubled point in their life. It's also important to recognize that a lot of these kids, some through these services or through their own through their own actions, are also making a huge impact on their community in their school and outside. And that's really what these awards are all about. So tell us about the Youth Recognition Awards and how your board takes the efforts of our kids in our classrooms across West Bloomfield and gives them their due recognition every year.
Thank you for asking, Tyler. We have so many kids that are doing so many amazing things within our community, all sorts of volunteer things, whether it might be mentoring other children, it may be reading to kids, it could be any one of a number of different activities. And we are so proud that will be our 28th annual recognition awards. Members of our school community, members of the church and the religious community, police officers, other community organizations, anyone can nominate a child for youth recognition for doing these amazing things that they're doing. And this year, I am beyond proud to say we have more than 50 kids that will be recognized on May 1st.
And Carol, for you as a board member, not only of West Bloomfield Youth Assistance, but also on the school board, now how does this make you feel then to see that these kids, what they're learning, the 4 C's and the aspects of the portrait of a graduate, and all the things that the school district and a school board has been implementing from an academic standpoint, how does it feel for you to see that these kids are not only embracing that, they're making it a core part of who they are?
Oh, 100%. There is a reason that I stepped up to chair this year's event. It's because I am so proud of all of these kids, and they exemplify the 4 C's. They are productive, amazing members of our community, and all of their work really deserves to be recognized. A lot of times kids only get recognition for the bad things, but this is an opportunity for us to really shine a spotlight on all of the amazing things that are happening within our community and by these amazing young people. And we're talking about kids as young as elementary school level all the way through high school.
And that's what's really key about this, Carol. It's a good point that you made, is that we're recognizing kids all throughout the West Bloomfield School District, not just the oldest kids that really understand the impact that they're having, but those kids that are learning that this is an important thing to do, to volunteer in your community, to make an impact on other people that is positive and productive. And so, Connie, for you, as you interpret all that and as you continue your work with the board, why is it important from Youth Assistance's perspective, not only to help the kids in need, but to give that due recognition to kids that are taking initiative to be really significant, positive members of our community?
It means a lot to us. It gives us an opportunity to really express the way for all our efforts, that these children are really stepping up. We have children this year that have volunteered their time. One in Pacific, she raised over $500 selling socks to help the homeless. We have also one particular child that is now helping all of his and her peers, learn, get the learning that they need in order to pass the SAT. So they're stepping up, doing a whole lot. And it means a lot to our board that these children are recognized every year. This year is our 28th year, as you stated before. We're going on 3 decades now honoring these students, and we're excited. We want everyone to come out, volunteer their time if they want to. That would be fantastic. So we're excited. I could not have done it this year without Carol and Jennifer. They have been exceptional, just exceptional. And I'm just excited, just so excited about this year.
Connie Knoyton and Carol Finkelstein are with us from the awards committee with the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance. Their annual Youth Recognition Awards coming up May 1st, 6 o'clock p.m. at West Bloomfield Middle School. You can learn more information about the event on wbyouthassistance.org. And Carol kind of gave some great examples about some of these kids that are going to be recognized at this 28th annual event. And you mentioned it earlier on. They're nominated by people from all different sectors of the community, and that's what's also important to recognize here is these kids are not just making an impact in the classroom or making an impact in their day-to-day activities. They are really touching and impacting every corner of our community.
Absolutely, Tyler. And there are so many amazing stories that people will hear about on May the 1st. So we encourage you to tune in because it will be recorded and replayed by Civic Center TV, and we appreciate that, Tyler. And join us in person at the middle school. Come help us celebrate these amazing students and hear the amazing stories and the amazing things that they're doing.
Connie, you heard the stories. You had been prompted to get involved, and you have over the last couple of years, joining Youth Assistance, being part of the awards committee. So for those that out in the community, adults that want to make an impact on our next generation, why should they consider also joining and volunteering with West Bloomfield Youth Assistance?
It's fulfilling. That's the reason why I actually came on board with youth assistance, because it's fulfilling. It gives you a chance to actually observe and see what these youth are doing. You're out in the community, you're doing things, you're helping them feel good about themselves, and you're jumping in there and you're doing something that's worthy. You're giving back to the community. That's one thing that I really like. I like to give back to the community. When I used to go and read in the schools, that was one of the most fulfilling things that I enjoyed. I really did. I enjoyed it, so it's always about giving back to your community. It's important.
It is, and it's also nice as you're giving back to get to have those interactions, to see the impact that the kids are having
Absolutely.
on the community, and be able to recognize that we don't have to worry so much about this next generation. They're already in good hands with themselves and for our communities. Connie, Carol, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Tyler. Now we hope to see you there. I did. I do want to see you, Tyler.
I will do my best to be out there May 1st at West Bloomfield Middle School for this recognition and hopefully
Tyler,
have a chance to thank some of these kids.
Tyler, let everyone know that they are welcome to visit our website and take a look at what we're doing. And also, please come out that night. They can volunteer their times. They can contact me with my email address. It's on our website, and we'll be glad to have them to volunteer.
Absolutely.
All right, Connie, Carol, thank you both so much. Enjoyed talking with you today. West Bloomfield Youth Assistance can be found on wbyouthassistance.org, as it says on your screen. You can also find them on Facebook at WB Youth Assistance. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Not only do we have some award ceremonies coming up, we got plenty of other fun on the docket, not only here in West Bloomfield, but also in the heart of the lakes. We'll learn more about that and more coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join our team as we highlight people and events that are making an impact in the greater West Bloomfield area. Catch us live Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. You can also find us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and YouTube at Civic Center TV. Like, follow, subscribe, all for free, and find us each and every day. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh. And Kevin, this time of the year, it's a time we see our communities really come alive. As the sun comes out, so do the good people of Greater West Bloomfield. That's especially the case in the city of Keego Harbor.
Yes, Tyler, as we slowly anticipate the weather to stay consistent here in Michigan, which sounds kind of crazy. We know that the spring is here and the summer is slowly approaching. With that being said, a lot of things happening outside that we love to keep the community updated on. And Keego Harbor's block party is officially coming back this summer. A lot of great things going on. Join us to talk about what's going on specifically at that event from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation. We have Kirsten Sonneville Douglas joining us. Thank you for joining us, Kirsten.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, before we even get into the block party, I know that Keego Harbor just recently had their Easter egg hunt or their egg hunt. Can you just talk about how that went and how the community turned out for that?
It was wonderful. Unfortunately, weather was okay. It didn't cooperate completely with us, but it's Michigan, right? And so with a little drizzle won't keep the kids away. We had over 5,000 eggs spread across Rose Sorter Park, which is right behind our city hall. Kids were able to come out. We were thankful that the West Bloomfield Public Library was there to be on site to do a craft. We had the Keego Bunny there for taking some pictures with the families as well. And so we laugh that it starts at 11 o'clock sharp, because if you are 3 minutes late, there's not an egg to be found.
I know, right? Yeah, get there on time and have some fun on schedule. I completely understand that. Yeah. So getting into the actual block party now, Kirsten, can you just tell us the inspiration behind organizing the Summer Block Party series?
It started in 2021. I had the idea of bringing music into the park. We have a beautiful gazebo in Rose Sorter Park. And we started with one event, had some food trucks, just again to bring the community back together. And it was right after the pandemic, just trying to find ways to reconnect again. And it was a big hit. And people were like, "Oh, we should do it every weekend." Well, That's really time consuming for planning, but I said I'd be committed to doing it the third Friday of June, July, and August. So
Right,
this is our 4th year. And so we are ready with the bands, and the food trucks are ready.
That is great to hear. I love to hear the fact that we have events for the community to get together. And any and all community, especially here within the greater West Bloomfield area, Harbor specifically, because we love to get out there, see other people in the community, shake hands, and just see what's going on, and just vibe, and be around that energy. So this is a perfect thing for that. And from what I'm seeing, you have food trucks with the food, you have games, live music, even art going on there. Just talk about incorporating all of these things. What type of games? Talk about the live music and talk about the art.
It's really just to be more a low key block party, but on a larger scale. So we've got the big yard Jenga, cornhole. I have to think of the names of the games. Cornhole,
Yeah.
and then the golf on the rods. I can't think of the name, but anyway, yard games is what we have there. And so anyone can play, and it's fun to see neighbors just meet other people and pick up a game, which is fun. We have a huge artisan group in Keego Harbor. The organization is called Art Sale. And so we offer free tables for our local artists to show their goods, crafts, and art. And so it's wonderful just to see them out there. Again, the public library will be there too to support us. And then we have live band under the gazebo, and then usually and always just one food truck also for people to partake.
Right. So live music, that's what I'm interested in as of right now. How do you go about selecting the artists or the bands who performs at these block parties?
A lot of word of mouth and people saying, "Oh, you should check out this band." The first one was asking people who coordinate bands for some of their local restaurants, and they were able to connect me with Slowfoot, who has a great following, and we're excited that they're going to be our June band. So we're excited to kick off again with them. And then it's just people, again, word of mouth, and people saying, "Hey, we'd like to participate."
Yes, joining us now from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation, Kirsten Sonneville Douglas, talking about the upcoming block party at Keego Harbor at the Rose Sorter Park behind City Hall and different things that's going on there. So you said essentially you started the event because you wanted to bring the community together. Do you feel like you've achieved those objectives? Have you added any objectives? Is there anything else that you plan to achieve or any other goals for this event overall in general?
I believe we've achieved that goal. And every event, every block party, we have more and more people. So it's just getting the word out to our community, right? It's how do we connect with everybody? And so each time it's getting bigger and better, and that's what we're expecting and we're hoping.
Absolutely great. And like we have seen it grown over the years. Like you said, you've gotten a great response from the crowd and from the community wanting it to come back. And as a result, it has come back. And we're talking about the third Friday in June, July, and August, with the first one starting June 21st. So that's something for everyone to mark their calendars with now, Kirsten. Any other additional information about the block party, about any other events Keego Harbor has or that you have on the schedule?
Well, if they want to follow us on our social media platforms, that's a great way to connect with us to know what's upcoming, right? And so the block party events are June 21st, July 19th, and August 16th. Our bands will be Slowfoot, Interstate 90s, and the Dudes. And then our food trucks in order for June would be the Grill Wrap. Then we've got Cousins Maine Lobster for July and Bueno Tacos, a local favorite here, in August. So we're looking forward to that. So I hope you guys will come out and join us. Maybe you'll do something live from one of those events. And then also something that I do know that you guys are so amazing and so supportive is our Memorial Day Parade. So we're looking forward to that coming up here and at the end of May.
Yes. That's when we know the summer weather usually starts to get a little bit more consistent. We starting to get into some good summer times. Oh, that sounds like a plan to me, Kirsten. Thank you so much for joining. Kirsten Sonneville Douglas from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation, talking about the block party in Keego Harbor coming back to Rose Sorter Park right behind City Hall. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I love to find out about things like that. Food trucks, games, live music, especially in the summertime outside. It's a whole vibe, Tyler. Once again, anybody want to find out more information, Facebook at KH Parks or go to their website, KeegoHarbor.org, Tyler.
Yeah, I want to make sure no one's confused when Kirsten said that one of their bands later on is going to be the Dudes. It's not Kevin and I. Don't let that fool you. We're not going to be playing music out there. The last thing you want is me on a stage singing to the general public. I'll end up in handcuffs from Chief Fitzgerald for that. That is a crime against music. But they'll have plenty of fun at Keego Harbor Parks and Rec all summer long. Kevin, thank you for that conversation. And Kevin, also, as we get into the warmer seasons of the year, people get back out and about. They want to tend to their yards, beautify their space, enjoy the outdoors and all of its great elements, especially here in Greater West Bloomfield, where we value our environment so heavily. But to do so, oftentimes the best action you can take is to support the land with plants it is regularly used to, or native plants. Joining us is an expert on this topic who recently wrote a brand new book with 50 different native plants in it, and that is Sally Wenzel. She is the author of Native Plants of Great Lakes Region, 50 hand-sketched wildflowers, pollinators, and more, with us on the Splash Live. Sally, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Tyler, so much for having me. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but that was very nice of you to say that. I am a student
in
of my...
comparison to yours truly, everybody is an expert, and you certainly are very well versed in this subject matter and an advocate for our local environment. So let's start from the start, because native plants, we hear a lot about this every year, especially as we get into the spring and people are getting ready to start gardening or start a garden altogether. And so many people talk about the importance of including native plants in your yards or in your gardens. But why is that important, especially here in the Greater West Bloomfield area where we have so much wildlife and so many wetlands?
Oh, yeah. So that is actually, I have a list included right in the very front of the book. Why are native plants so important? Because it was really important to me not just to have the artwork as a teaching tool for kids to adults. I mean, it's really an all range, all ages coloring book. But why are they so important, and where can you get them? That information is also in here. So one of the most important things is that they've been here for thousands of years, sometimes tens of thousands of years, and they've co-evolved with the animals and the wildlife that have also been here for that long. So they're codependent on each other. So really, it's the base of the food chain. That's one point. Another is that they have really, really deep root systems. So some of these native plants, and especially the grasses, they can go down like 15 to 20 feet. It sounds outrageous, but it's true. So what they're doing is these deep root systems are really holding that earth in place, and it acts as an erosion prevention. So along shorelines, anywhere where there's slopes, to plant native plants is really an act of preventing erosion. And in doing so, we're actually keeping our watershed healthy because all those the nutrient runoff is reduced. Another point, if you're planting native plants, you don't have to douse them with fertilizers and herbicides and water. A lot of them are drought tolerant. So by reducing the chemical input in our environment, we're also protecting the pollinators and the watershed and our own health as well.
And with this being such an important topic, and there's so much detail that goes into learning about native plants to the state of Michigan, to Oakland County, to the Greater West Bloomfield area, and so there's so much detail to go into on this subject matter. How did that influence you as you were putting together this book, and ultimately when you put together the color by number with these 50 hand-sketched pictures? Why that format to teach people about this subject matter?
Well, you could just put some plants in a book and expect people to know what they look like. They'd be doing a lot of Googling on their phone to say, okay, what color is this gentian or butterfly milkweed? So the color by number really helps to teach and get you to really look closer and examine. And I guess for me, when I'm doing illustrating for other books that I've done, once I draw something, it's really etched into my brain. It's really cemented in there, and I don't ever forget it. And then I start seeing it out in the wild. And then once you see it, you just can't unsee it. oh, there it is, and it's kind of everywhere. So really being able to identify the specific characteristics and the colors is important. It's an important teaching tool. And excuse me, the title of I wanted to go beyond just Michigan because really, I have some props here I want to show you. So the Great Lakes region, really it's any of the provinces or states that touch, I can see that touch a Great Lake. But then looking closer, the Great Lakes Basin. So here's a map too, if you can see that.
Yeah.
So that's all the drainage. All of that land is the watershed into the Great Lakes. So looking a little closer, all of those, the highlighted areas, all that stuff is draining into our water bodies. So the Great Lakes region is, I tell the kids when I present in classes and I do book readings that Michigan is right in the middle. We're like the high five. We're the team captain of the Great Lakes region. And so we have a lot of responsibility here to really set an example.
And we set a great example here in the greater West Bloomfield community, too, with our focus from really each of our communities in West Bloomfield Township, in Keego Harbor, and Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake, and throughout the county on focusing on environmental activism and making sure that we are being supportive of our environment while being supportive of each other and our properties and our own way of manifesting how we want to live in our communities. And so as you put this book together, you did so with hand-sketched illustrations. So what sort of challenges did you face in that process, and what aspects of native plant life and its relationship with our pollinators, too, did you want to capture through these images?
So how did the process? Wow. I love rainy, dark days because it really makes me sit down and stay inside and focus. Otherwise, I want to be out playing like everybody else when the sun's out. But it takes a lot of, I guess, self-discipline to make yourself do something like this when you're your own boss. You have to set your schedule, give yourself kind of a deadline. My deadline was get it done before the first day of spring, which thankfully I did. So yeah, what was your follow-up question? Sorry, I go off on these tangents. I've got all these seeds sitting in front of me and things I want to talk about. But yeah, I'll print out pictures of specific pollinators, like this one right here. This is a white-lined sphinx moth. So I wanted to know specifically, I had a picture, and I have a drawing in here of an evening primrose. And I thought, okay, I need to find what specific pollinator pollinates and lays its eggs on evening primrose. And I found this beautiful white-lined sphinx moth. And then I looked at the picture like, man, that's going to be really tough to draw, but I got to put it in there to show the relationship. There's several others. Obviously, I think a lot of people know about milkweed and the relationship with the monarch butterfly. So that was another one that I plugged in to show that delicate relationship, that careful balance, how the plants, the host plants are there for these pollinators that depend on them. And yeah, if you look in what else is in there, the metallic green sweat bee, it loves asters and aster family plants that have these wide open sunflower kind of faces. So yeah, it was fun to match. But I also got some advice from Valerie Mullaney. I want to give her a shout out. She's my ecology consultant who I met through North Oakland Wild Ones, which is another local, there's some West Bloomfield members of North Oakland Wild Ones, and they are great organization. They do a native plant sale. And I met her doing a book reading there, and she was very vocal during one of my presentations. And I thought, man, she knows a lot. This is a wise person who I need to get her information. And I'm so glad we stayed in touch because she helped me edit this book and plug in a few more pollinators that I wouldn't have otherwise known.
And Sally, the book is Native Plants of the Great Lakes Region, 50 hand-sketched wildflowers, pollinators, and more. You can find it on Amazon and other platforms as well. Amazon's the primary place to go if you want to take a look at this book and learn even more. And Sally, your book provides tips also for readers that want to incorporate native plants into their yards. And And so as we wrap things up, what insight can you provide on how people can explore what are the right native plants for their yards, for what their goals are in their yard or in their garden, and how they can incorporate these native plants to make a more robust system in their space?
Yeah, so it was really important to me to put in very specific habitat descriptions with each page. So if you'll see um, like fox sedge, I put in here on the opposite side, you'll see there's habitat descriptions. Sorry, just shoving stuff in your face here. Full sun or part shade, wet soil of shores, river and stream margins, ditches, meadows, and clearings. So by giving those habitat descriptions, you can kind of look at your own yard and see where is that plant going to be suited. Also, if you do go to these, a lot of them are happening right in May coming up. So native plant sales. I know Friends of the Rouge has theirs coming up, Wild Type Nursery. I'm going to just plug a few of these that I know are happening. WB Parks has one coming up in May. And they will give you, they have really knowledgeable, I would call them experts, that are selling these plants that can help you decide about your landscaping and should this go in the shade, should this go in the sun. Really, you don't have to go all prairie-fying your whole property and making it all wild. Like even just 10 square feet, 5 square feet of a native plant little niche nook in your garden is so beneficial because, and then you leave the plants. I want to show you this. This is a purple coneflower seed head. The golden finches, they go after this like crazy when all the food is gone and these are still sticking up in the fall and the early spring. And this is a bird feeder right here. Same with black-eyed Susan and blue vervain, all of these seeds. So they're multiplying. You plant these perennial native plants once and they just keep on producing. They'll fill in and you'll be digging up plants and seeds to give to your neighbors. You have so many after a couple of seasons.
Yeah, there's so much to learn about these different plants and the ways that they can impact your yard and our local ecosystems here in Greater West Bloomfield with such variety between wetlands and woodlands and just brush also throughout our community. There's so many different ways that you can make an impact right in your own home. Sally, not only is this your second book, you've written this one about native plants, you've previously written one about building a rain garden. Why are these subjects important to you as an author and why choose this medium to ultimately tell these stories and to provide this information that you're so passionate about to the public?
Well, when I moved out to West Bloomfield from Ferndale, I was looking for nature and I found it. But I live on a very small lake and who knew that it would have pollution problems and algae bloom problems. And, I found out and right away joined the HOA, got involved and learned as much as I could about natural shorelines and natural ways to keep water healthy. And it's just had this ripple effect. I just gave a book talk up in my hometown of Mount Pleasant to the Mount Pleasant Garden Club. And usually when I ask, does anyone in the room have a rain garden? At least one person raises their hand, but nobody raised their hand. And I thought, wow, that Chippewa River up there that I grew up swimming in needs more rain gardens. So if we can, strike a vein in the community to get this rain garden revolution, I like to call it sometimes, going in different places to help clean the watershed. I think that's beneficial for everybody. But yeah, it really started with living on this small lake. It's about 12 acres and learning with my community, with some other members of the neighborhood association, how do we solve this problem of cleaning water that's in such a densely populated urban area. It's not like a forest lake up in the UP. This is like this lake is taking a beating, and the more things that we can do, like rain gardens, natural shorelines, native plantings, are all going to be steps to healing these water bodies.
Yeah, these things don't necessarily resolve the problem, but they help to take those steps forward that over time do help to alleviate these issues and return our waterways and our other wetlands and woodlands back to where they should be in good health. Sally, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you on. The book is Native Plants of the Great Lakes Region, 50 hand-sketched wildflowers, pollinators, and more. It is a paperback book with plenty of sketches and even more information. You can find it on Amazon. Just search Native Plants of the Great Lakes Region. Kevin, great information from Sally Wenzel, who's been a big advocate in our local community for our environment, and especially in West Bloomfield Township, where we have an environmental commission, and in Keego Harbor, where people like Leslie Clark are so heavily involved in helping people understand the way that they can impact the environment, leading the charge on their canal cleanup and other events all throughout the year. That is some great information. But Kevin, also some opportunities for people to make an impact in their community in a variety of different sectors. People are looking for new jobs, new opportunities, and there's plenty of those available with some of our local nonprofits.
Absolutely. So, I like to say new day, new opportunity, right? And sometimes the opportunities come to you, but you have to go to find the opportunities. And right now there is a local organization, a career expo featuring 7 local nonprofit agencies to be held April 3rd at the J in West Bloomfield. And I don't know about it, but we are being joined today by Director of Business and Career Services at Gesher Human Services, Jason Charnas, to talk more about that. Thank you for joining us, Jason.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to share about this great event we have.
Absolutely. So let's just get straight into it. You have a Metro Detroit nonprofit career expo, like we said, April 3rd. Just talk about the inspiration behind it and the overall insight of what's going on.
Sure, absolutely. So we have a great group of nonprofits that we have brought together. It's a great way for folks that are looking for employment, thinking about a career shift or a career change or a new job, to come and not just to talk and to apply for jobs, but the opportunity to meet face-to-face with hiring professionals, HR professionals, get to know them, let them get to know you face-to-face. It's a different experience face-to-face than it is through email or even a phone call. Whether it's the perfect job or a similar job, whether it's not even the right opportunity yet, but to get to know you, you can talk about the kinds of jobs you're interested in, job seekers, employers. It's just a great opportunity. And if that was all we were doing, that would be awesome. But we've got so much more at this event really geared towards supporting job seekers. So Gesher Human Services is an organization that works with job seekers every day. And we have a large number of certified professional resume writers on staff. Our staff will be there to assist folks that want help writing a resume, updating a resume, or at least getting started and then making an appointment to continue that work and to finalize that resume. But to show up, to get some help on a resume, we have also headshots. We have a photographer who's taking headshots. It's a great way to update a LinkedIn profile. Something, again, free. I want to make that clear. There's no charge to attend as a job seeker. There's no charge for help with your resume, right? There's no charge for those LinkedIn headshots. We're really trying to support job seekers so that they set themselves up for the best opportunity possible as they start looking for employment.
Great information, Jason, and thank you for providing that overall scope of the things that's going on with the event. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit, if you don't mind, and ask, what was the inspiration behind this event? Why does it even take place, and why does it take place at the location that it does also?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that was happening a year and a half, 2 years ago, there were high number of job openings. Employers were really struggling to find job seekers to fill open positions. Without those open positions, especially in these local nonprofits, there's a lot of really great work that simply isn't able to get done. So we said, how can we help, right? We have these job seekers on one side that we're working with day in and day out. How do we bring them together with employers who have open positions? And so that's what we did. It's just a great way to match people with jobs, match employers with job seekers, and give people that opportunity all in one place. So yeah, I can call and I can drive down as a job seeker. I can send an application, not the same as meeting face to face. And so the inspiration was, how do we make this easier? How do we connect folks that are looking for employment with organizations that are doing good work, working meaningfully in our communities? And how do we make those connections? And this is where this idea came from. It's not a unique idea, but the real spin that we really have is we're also able to help with LinkedIn headshots, resumes, and we have a lot of other services on site to answer questions, whether it be for somebody who is looking for some financial education information or home buyer information, wants to really explore a career shift or a career change, but no idea what to do or how to do it. We've got folks on site that'll be able to have a conversation, to schedule some meetings, and also share information on our computer classes for job seekers. We've got a lot going on.
Yes, definitely seems like there's a lot of different resources, not just about turning in a resume immediately and finding a job. It's the preparation leading up to it. Also, all great resources that are very vital to the process. Once again, join us, Director of Business and Career Services for Gesher Human Services, Jason Charnas, talking about their upcoming Career Expo with local nonprofit agencies, April 3rd at the J in West Bloomfield. So, Jason, what do you feel like was the ultimate disconnect, or is the disconnect between the people who are seeking jobs and those employers that are seeking these jobs to be filled? I mean, I know we had the pandemic a couple years ago that affected it. Are we still feeling the effects of the pandemic, or is it just a shift in people's mindset? What's really going on from your understanding?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. So I don't know that there's a disconnect specifically, but it's not always easy to find a job. There's a lot of folks that feel like I'm applying. I interview maybe, and I don't even hear back. This is a way to meet with people face to face. Am I a right fit? Is this the right job I should apply for based on the experience you're looking at on my resume, or we're talking about in person? And to be able to do that times a bunch of different organizations all at one time is a great way. It's a great way to say, okay, so you may have 5 or 6 or 8 different job openings. I'm not really sure which one's right for me, but I love what your organization does. I really care about your mission, or I want to learn more. It's hard to find time to get an HR professional to say, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's give you that time that you're asking for. So it's not necessarily the disconnect, it's the opportunity that we have to really make those connections. And it's going to be really beneficial. So listen, the event's 10 to 12. I encourage folks to come at the beginning, stay, get it done. I would love for folks to register, but they're also welcome to walk in. At the end of the day, I want to make this easy for everybody, including employers, right? I want to make this easy for the folks that are going to be participating. Show up, walk in, wide variety of job opportunities. We haven't even talked about the types of job openings, so let's do that for a quick minute. Part-time,
yes,
full-time, weekend, right? A bunch of different opportunities. We have opportunities now, as all jobs are and all openings are, it's really fluid, right? So a job that's posted today or yesterday or last week may not be available. So I want to put that asterisk out there in case somebody's like, but Jason talked about, right? I'm doing my best. So roles in education, advancement, fundraising, marketing, communications, janitorial, direct support professionals, and supervisors of direct support professionals, security, accounts receivable, and other accounting jobs, home health aides, caregivers, receptionists, CDL bus drivers. And so the variety is really pretty wide. And so if someone's watching and thinking, is this right for me? The answer is yes, come.
Yes.
You've got the time. We should make the time, prioritize yourself and what your career and future could look like with this great opportunity.
I'm so glad that you elaborated on that, Jason, because I don't know where my head was, where our audience or listeners' head was as far as what kind of jobs are being offered. But you literally just went through an entire scale of different jobs, blue collar, white collar, production jobs, management jobs. It's all there. And then you all have the resources, which is very important. Resume building. I'm pretty sure you can help with interview tips and things of that nature. Negotiating power. It's so important to learn the skills of interviewing face to face and the value of those face to face conversations rather than the phone interview or even a Zoom interview nowadays. That face to face makes a complete difference, Jason. And I'm glad you all provide those resources.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always tough to be in a position where you are looking for employment, and to be able to make all of these connections at one time is great. And look, we don't know what connections might happen at the event, but we know we've had people find lots of success on both sides of this, and it's really ultimately a partnership between job seekers and employers. What's going to work? How do we make this connection? Is this right for you, and is this right for me? And it's a great way to figure that all out at one time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree better. Jason, any additional information that you want to give out to the community? Any other things that's going on with your organization or that you want to just tell us about?
Yeah, absolutely. I know people are working and maybe still thinking about a new opportunity or a new career path, and this isn't a place and a time that they can come. They can still call us at Gesture Human Services, call me directly, and we'll be able to help set somebody up to work one-on-one with somebody on my team to assist with whatever their specific and individual needs are. And I think that's the key. It's what are those individual needs? Maybe somebody's needs are simply, I want to stay at home and join a Zoom webinar and learn how to update my resume. We have those programs also. Okay. So in person, over Zoom. But what a great opportunity for anybody who's thinking, is this right for me? The answer is yes. Let's talk. Let's figure out what that looks like for you individually.
100%. And if it's not right for you, it could be right for someone else you know. So please pass the word. Thank you again, Director of Business and Career Services for Gesture Human Services, Jason Charnas. Thank you again for your time, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I love being able to spread the word about stuff like that, because that's being a dot connector. That's essentially what Jason is. He says he knows people who are seeking jobs, and he knows jobs that are seeking people, and he just essentially want to connect those dots. So much respect to him and everything that they have going on there.
Yeah, and there are so many great resources in our community for people that are seeking jobs, that are seeking new opportunities, seeking to build new skills. And a lot of that's come from partnerships with organizations like Gesture Human Services and local job providers. And Kevin, even with Oakland County, who's been putting so much effort into supporting jobs staying in the county and bringing more businesses into Oakland County in order to provide more opportunities. We'll certainly hear a lot about that coming up later this week from Oakland County Executive David Coulter. His annual State of the County address is scheduled for Thursday of this week, April 4th at 7:00 p.m. He'll be delivering that speech in Farmington Hills, and it will be available on oakgov.com/SOTC. We'll do our best also to have some coverage of that as well, potentially live on WBTV. We'll work that out for you and provide more information later on in the week, as that is the same evening as the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission meeting. But oakgov.com/SOTC is a great place to go for more information on that, Kevin, as we learn a lot about these programs that are coming up and about through the docket. Like earlier this year, we talked about the Acorn to Oak program. That was introduced at last year's State of the County. So all the more reason for people to tune in and learn about initiatives that are coming down the pike.
Hey, Tyler, the one thing, just going back to the whole Career Expo thing, I love that they just have resources outside of just interviewing. You can work on your resume, work on negotiation skills, work on interview skills, just get help and advice from people. Just shake hands with the employers who are hiring. If you're not ready at the time, you can just meet face to face, then put your application in. All of those things are very, very important. So I believe the website you want to go to is geshermi.org, GESHERMI.org. for more. I just wanted to put that out there, Tyler.
Yeah, again, that's going to be on April 3rd, a couple days from today, Wednesday, at the
Correct.
J, formerly known as the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit. That is on Drake Road, just before the roundabout, just north of the roundabout at Drake and Maple Roads here in the greater West Bloomfield community. Some great opportunities ahead, Kevin, for those seeking jobs, those seeking fun, and seeking information all throughout the greater West Bloomfield community. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We thank you for joining us today and encourage you to keep up to date with our program on civiccentertv.com, on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV. For our entire team, Jake Schaff, Calvin Brown, Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thanks for watching The Splash Live.